So hello and welcome guys. So today hereby we are going to talk about prompt engineering. We are going to work on a project that is to get data from Google and then clean it and then share that data to a bot that sends mail to that. Okay, so basically what we are trying to do is we are going to get to a point where we are automating all of these processes so that if we start the script once, it will keep doing it several times. Okay, but now there is a situation where Google might block your IP address, so that is why we don't prefer it to host it on a cloud service and then we are going to run it. That is what we are not going to do. Basically we are creating this automation so that we can use it as an API, we can use it as an application, and then when we run it once, it will do it in a process that is very much organized in a structure. Okay, so for example, if you see this is the structure that we are going to follow through this project. Okay, so this is the structure that might be looking mirrored, but obviously this is the structured way that we are going to do in it. Okay, so currently we reach to this stage where we are going to get the data from Google. Okay, so now let's understand what we are doing here, and also there are a lot of changes that we are going to do after this. Okay, this is also all prompted. So and also all the next thing that we are going to be doing, that will be prompted either or used a documentation to go with it. Okay, so now let's start to get to that. Okay, so here we have imported Playwright, because Playwright is a module that is used for automation for browsers, or you can say scraping and all those purposes. Now we have created a function scraper where we are initializing the sync Playwright. Now here we have created a browser so that we can launch it. And if you are having any issues understanding these codes, I will like you to prefer a little better understanding of Python as in basic. Okay, you don't have to go to advanced level, because we are going to learn it in a way that even I don't know how to write advanced codes. Okay, that is why, that is what the approach of this project is. Basically we are trying to use prompt engineering to understand it better, that how it can be efficiently used to write codes. Okay, so today we have this project Cliento, and if you are looking for this project, you can get this project on CodeStamp store. I will give the link in description, and if you don't find it there, it might be possible that it hasn't been approved yet. There is a team of members that approve the project before they are launched on that store. Okay, so also if you want to buy some projects, you want to buy websites, you want to buy applications, you can refer to that website and you can get projects from there. Okay, so without wasting any time, let's get to it. Okay, so this will be a very speeded up development, because we are going to use prompt, and let's see how much time it will take for us to complete it. Okay, so here we are going to google.com, and then at Google we are searching for a query. Now this query is a special keyword search query. Basically when we talk about special keywords, keyword search query, that basically means that we are trying to give specific keywords to Google so that it can find us specific data for that. For example, we have three keywords here. So if you see at the data at any point randomly here, you will see that we have Antique Plaza, we have the email ID here. So this is how we collect email IDs and phone numbers. If you want to get to phone numbers, we will do just the country code. For example, we will do +91 if you want to get from India. So you will see Indian Antique Doors, Antique in Delhi, India. So that is how we do for phone number searches, and you see we have phone numbers. So that is how we are going to get all of the data from there. But now since we are talking about automations, we have to send either WhatsApp messages or direct SMSs on phone numbers, and for that we need authentication or any paid API to run that. Okay, so that is why we are not preferring that. We are going to see all of the free options that we can have. Okay, but yes, to send mails we need a SMTP server. That is what is required. If you know how to write a script without SMTP server, do prefer that, but I prefer SMTP server, because that is how your mails don't go to the spam folder. Okay, so that is one of the important consideration that we cannot exclude right now. Okay, so we will do @gmail.com. Also you can try @hotmail.com and all the other options. It's just keywords, it's all on you, what you want to get to it. Okay, so now we are back on ChatGPT, and here we are again. So we are pressing enter and getting the page. Now we are waiting for the page to be idle. Basically we want the page to be idle before we want to get to the scrolling thing. Okay, now here we start with the main thing that requires actual understanding. Okay, so here we have a true condition because we want to repeat it multiple times. Okay, because we don't want to stop it. And then we are creating a variable target found because we have set a button for more options as target, because that is the button we want to click every time we want to scroll the page. And the scroll thing is the most important section when we are talking about scraping, because every page loads to a extent and after that it doesn't load. Okay, so you have to click a button to load the next thing, and you don't want to miss out any data from a query, because after the next time you run that query again, that will give the same data again. So you have to get to the page end and then you have to get all of the data from there. That is what we have the motive here. Okay, so just a minute, I'll be there. Okay, so back at it. So now here, if you see, we have a true condition again where we are going to evaluate the scroll height. Okay, so basically scroll height is the height of the page that we want to scroll at once. For example, if we have this page right here, so this is a page where we are going to get the section of the scroll. So that means this is one page scroll when we get to the end of this page. So if we get to the end of this page, this is one scroll that we are talking about. This is a scroll height. So basically what we are doing scroll height, we are getting the scroll height and then using scroll height to evaluate to get to the next page. Okay, and after that what we are doing, if scroll height is greater than previous scroll height, basically it means that if we scrolled it, so the scroll height will be increasing, right? The previous top end to the end we are currently right now, that will be increasing every time we scroll. So that is what we want to do. We want to replace previous scroll height with the scroll height that we have right now. That is what we are doing here. And then we have else break condition to stop the loop if it doesn't scroll. Okay, then we have a query. Now this section is an important part because what we are doing here is we are passing XPath. Now XPath basically means a location of anything that you are having on a web browser. For example, if I select a section here, okay, I'll just refresh the page and go to the section where we are getting the main thing, that is the more results. You see more results. This is what we want to get for that code, the more results. As we get the more results, we have to click on it to get more data, right? At the initial beginning scrolling, we have loading screens that wants to get into loop. That is why we are using true conditions, and then we get to this point where we have to click it. Now when we have to click this point, so we have to get the XPath to click on this point, right? So to get the XPath, what we do is we just select that element, we go to copy, and we just copy the XPath. Okay, we can also get the full XPath. That is also what we can get, but we don't want to get to the full XPath because that is also a feature that we can update it. We don't have to initialize all the time about what we want to get on it. But also we have all the options available with Playwright, that if you want to get full XPath, if you want to get the conditioned XPath, it is all available as an option. Okay, so that is not what often a concern to get to that. Okay, this will be a little pause to the stream. Okay. Okay, so I was just checking the audio. If you feel breaking audio, you can tell me in the comments. Okay. So yes, we were at getting the X path. Okay, so when we click on more results, we have this more result, right? So we can get the X path. We can also get the full X path. We have both our options. We can also use all of these other options, but for now we are preferring X path because that is what we want to prefer. You can go to full X path. You can go to JS path. It is not a big concern. So we have the same XPath as you see here, because XPath does not change for a specific element in a page. Okay, even if it is loading the page again, the XPath will remain the same. Okay, so then what we are doing, we are printing that it has found the target element and it will click it. Okay, that is what it is doing, and then we have some error conditions. Now if we run this, we will get section of our automation. Okay, now this section has been also created using prompting, but it was done initially and I don't want to keep the video so long. That is why I don't prefer it. Also, the version, talking about the version, chat gpt is 3.5, that is what I'm using. So that is not updated with all of the recent codes. Okay, so that is why we cannot prefer only chat gpt to write the codes. We also need documentation, and this section was the most important, that required documentation to clear the parts where we have updates on the versions. Okay, so now if you see, we run scraper.py, what it will do, it will go to that query that we were talking about. It will reach to that page, and after it reach to that page, it will try to scroll it using the height. Okay, so if you see, it will start scrolling, it is going down, and as soon as it will reach a point where it finds the button more options, it will click on it and then it will scroll again. Now currently we don't have the feature that it will stop scrolling when it reaches the page end. Okay, so you see, Google has a page end where it will display that this is the data to be displayed right now. If you want to get more of the data, shuffle the query a little bit and then try again. Okay, that is what it says. So if we reach to the end of the page, it will be something like this. Okay, so this is what we want to get. This is what we are going to use to recognize if the page is completed, and after that page is completed, we are going to get all of the data from this page, and then we are going to evaluate that page. Okay, so now let's close it. And also we have this error right here. If you see, right now we have this recursion error where it says target page cannot be found, or context or browser has been closed. Okay, so we have to stop this. uh, we have to shut that down actually. Okay, now what we will be doing, we will be copying all of the code. We will go to chat gpt, and now let's start some prompt engineering. Now this is considered that the person who is trying to do this prompt engineering is not comfortable with programming and coding. So if you are worried about that, it is not an issue. We are trying to get to the approach where we are very much beginner friendly, talking about prompting. Okay, so now what we have to do here, we have to stop the scroll. Okay, when it reaches to the end of the page. So first let's get to the end of the page and get the X path. Obviously I told you as that X path does not change for any element in the page. Okay, if it is a specific element and it is reloaded, then it will also have specific X path. Okay, so now when we go to this specific section and we copy the X path for this, obviously because this is the section will be loaded when we are going to get the specific X path for that. This is the page end, so we want the page to be ended before we get all of the data from it. Okay, so usually you would be getting around 80 to 110 emails from one query. Okay, that is the amount of numbers on average that I have noticed. Might be possible that the query you are trying might be having very few data in that. Okay, so now what we are going to do, this is the X path of clickable text. Okay, and we are telling that this is the path for a clickable text, and when you find this X path, print done with all. Okay, so that is what we are trying to do. We are not going to be very precise right now. We are just going to start the evaluation on a simple step. Okay, so now you see, when we are trying to scroll the page and we are trying to reach at the end, we will be having the pages. So it has it all. So now we can add it here and we will see if this is what we are expecting. So what we're trying to do, we are going to scroll the page till the end, and if it has found the page end, it is going to stop there and it will print that we are done here. Okay, that is what we done with all. This is what we have added to the prompt to do it. Okay, okay, so now let's see if it is working fine. Okay, it is doing the Google search. Oh, no, it is not doing the Google search. It is missing out on the search query. Okay, so what we are missing on is we have to replace this section with the initial one where we are trying to make the Google search. This is where the issue is being caused, where we have the problem. Okay, so we'll replace this and now we will be having it. So now the issue was that the Google was trying to click on, the playwright was trying to click on the search element, but it was not able to find because we were trying to go on the wrong approach, finding for the Q element that was to be evaluated, right? Now here you see we are making a Google search, and also there is an issue that it is not going to enter. Okay, so it is waiting to enter. We have to put an enter. This is what is required. Okay, and also as mentioned, we are not going to type any code manually. Okay, that is the motive of this live stream. We are not going to type anything. We will be just copying and pasting. That is the motive of this video. This is the approach in this video, to create a project like that. Okay, okay, so you see we have got the page, and you see the scroll and it ended, and it says found target element. Now we have again an issue that says we have to keep scrolling until you reach to the section, reach to the page end, which is recognized by this X path. That is what we are going to tell it. So we have the code here, and this is trying to scroll to the page end. Okay, so now we will just copy it from here, get back to the code, and we will just paste it and see what the result changes to. So we are expecting it to not work fine, as I know this is not what it was intended to do. The code actually does is it is scrolling for once and then stop and look for the element that we are passing it at the end, so that the page has ended. But that is not what we are expecting, right? So we have to check for the occurrence of the loop. That is what we are going to evaluate here. Okay, so this is the code where we are done with all. We will just go back because there is a problem with that. We will copy this again and get back to ChatGPT again, and we'll start a new chat. As you see, we have got the wrong understanding of the code in that segment. Okay, so you have to do this. I prefer to do this with ChatGPT, because what happens if you put in a prompt and GPT remembers all of the previous chats. Now because of that chats that it remembers from the previous time, it will always give the wrong thing. So it is better that you type in the corrected code and give it to the prompt, and then again try to get to it. So it has the revised code. Now basically it means that ChatGPT is using this code for the evaluation of all the future implementations. Okay, so you see timeout error. This is what we were not expecting, because we don't have that, right? We initially had only this. So what we'll do, don't make any changes. Okay, now you see that it is got that no changes to the function. Now what we will be doing, as the section, as the section for found target element ends, check for this XPath. That is what we want to do. We want to check for this XPath, check for this XPath. If available, print done, and if not, then rerun the scroll, and also check for the element to be found. That is what we are going to do here. Okay, so now it will modify the code based on that. So it will be giving scroll and continuing the check part, okay, only. So here we have, just to copy this, and we'll just paste it with the if condition that we have here. If page.query selected, we have target found to be set true, and in the same we have another if condition where we are checking if it is, then it will be breaking the loop. Okay, so now let's run the code again, and see if it is scrolling to the point that we want to scroll to, and after that scrolling it will click more options until we reach to the page, and that is the motive of this program. Okay, so as you see, we will be going to the bottom of the page. We are clicking more options, more options, more options, again more options, and as soon as it will end, you see every time you see here found target element, it is clicking on the more results, and after it is clicking on the more results, we will be getting more closer to the page end, and as soon as we reach to the page end, we have a X path identified that will be evaluated to check if it is a page end or not, and if it is a page end, it will print done. Okay, and after that done, it will be exiting it. Okay, so we have reached the page end, but it is not saying done, you see. So there might be some error because of the X path. Now let's see what that error might be. And also we have this issue right here. We have a recursion error. So to solve this, what we will do, we'll just copy this error and paste it here. Remove the condition causing this recursion of error output. Okay, now this will be doing is it will be removing all of the part where we have this thing to print. Okay, so here we have except condition where we are putting in as here. So what basically this means is if we have a except condition, in except condition we have if else, that is if the target or content has been closed. That basically means if the browser has been closed, then it will exit. Okay, that won't run like this. So now let's exit it. So now what we have to do is we have to identify if we have this thing right, because what is happening, it is clicking on this, but after the page is ended, it doesn't reach here. Or maybe it is, or it is taking time just because of the scroll, because that scroll isn't working, right? So what we have to tell it is when the page does not finds any more, we have to specify what it is not finding, right? So as you see here, we have found target element, right? So as we see, if it is not finding target any more targets, then it should print done. So now let's try to the different approach. As we see, we have the text path, but that text path is found inside of the clickable more options thing. Now what happening that if it is not finding the more options, then it is excluding it. Okay, so that is meaning if you want to get to the more option, it clicks to the more options and then it looks for this. Okay, so basically what it means ki every time we are getting into the more options, then it is clicking on then it is finding if there is a query on this. But that's not what we want. We want to get it outside of the query selector, right? So let's try to do that here only. So if we have if query is in it, let's run it again, because maybe we are scrolling it again and we have to do else pass. That is what we have to do, because what is happening, we have to scroll height is evaluated every time, and if it is ended, it is stopping to scroll. That is why it is not going further. Okay, so now let's run again and let's see if this works. Might be working. I don't think this is the right approach, but it should work. Okay, so now we have reached the page end. Now what we have to do here is basically every time we have reached the page end, we are going to copy all of the elements from this page. Okay, that is what we are going to do here. So let's wait for some time and let's see if we are missing out on something or the code has been stopped. We have wait timer of 1 second here, we have a wait timer of 6 seconds here, and we have a wait timer of 3 seconds here. So you see we have 300 ms of exceeded time. So basically we are reaching to a point which is here. Okay, so basically we have to also check that if we are getting into this section. No, it is not. And then else target found false. Okay, and also if target is not found, we will be updating it here. This is what should work. So now see, we have prompted, we have now to scroll, we are scrolling. And when we will be scrolling, it will reach to a else condition where it won't find the element that is more options or more results. And when it will not find the more result options, it will go to the section where it will try to find that X path for the element that we are getting at the end of the page. And if we are successful in getting that point, we have completed the scraper part. And then after that, we will be having a workover of 15 to 20 minutes, and that will be completed. This is the only most complex part because Google has some of the features implemented on its page that denies automations just to stop all of the part of it. Okay, so that is what it is doing here. So we have to just wait and see if it is printing done or not. If it's printing done, that means we have found this XPath for this one. Or maybe if we can also check it again that if we have the right XPath or not. Okay, maybe we have an issue with the XPath. We can try to get the text element. Or we will just copy this. We will copy this text and I'll go to GPT, and what I want to do is within this code section. Okay, I'll again also I will again change the prompt. Okay, because you see there is a issue that has been arised in here. If you notice, you will find out that we have a problem in the previous prompts. Okay, so in this code where we are finding the X path, and now we will use the X path that we have for the last part. Okay, uh, replace that with the text finding feature for, and we will give the text. Okay, so basically the text will be the text that we copied at the end of the page, because that is the text with that we won't be repeated. You see, this is the only part. In order to share most relevant result, we have omitted some entries, and this is what we are going to find. So it will update the code segment and it will give you the only section that is having the part of updating it. Okay, so here if you see, we have this here. We will just replace it. Maybe this is not using the query. Okay, we have page.innerText, and now we are getting whole of the page content, and we are checking whole of the page content to get to the part. Okay, where we are. So now if we run this you will notice we will be scrolling the page, and at the end what we will be doing, we will getting inner text, and if we find the inner text, we will print it is done. Okay. Also, if this doesn't works, there will be a thing that we will have to do here. So we have reached the page end. Now if we find that element, it will be exited, and if not, we will be getting out of it. Okay, so rerunning again, let's see if we have conditioning right again. This is the issue point is at the end of the page, we are not able to recognize that if we have the scroll feature working or not. Also, we'll have to remove some additional looping from it, like while true conditions that have been added in an extra. So we have to pause to that. Okay, so we have reached the page end, but we are waiting it to break the loop and stop it. Okay. And it says found target element again. That means it is running it. And I don't see that XPath, but yet there will be that XPath found. So what we are going to do, we will just copy whole of this code and ask GPT to remove all the extra looping that is not required. Now what this will do, this will basically remove all the loop or looping statements that we don't require that has been additionally added. Now the reason for doing that is if we are having the looping conditions, it is not allowing us to break out of it. That is why we are having the issue in reaching the page end sections. So now we'll replace it and now we'll run it. Now there might also be updations that will cause the issue in scrolling. It will stop scrolling uh, even if it has scrolled once. So that is also an issue. But let's see if we have not reached to the point of scrolling issues. Okay, so we are scrolling fine, we are going good. And you see there is a issue that says page. Okay, we have a issue here. So now what we can do is we can replace it again with the section use XPath here rather. Okay, now it will use the XPath. No, we have to prefer XPath most of the time because XPath is something that does not change. Okay, this is, I remember I told this multiple times. But yeah, this is what we expect to have here. Okay, so we'll get here and we'll remove this whole section and we will add the XPath that we had. Okay, so we have the XPath for that element. We'll just try to get it again because there was some issue already, so maybe there was due to XPath. So we go to the section, copy and copy XPath. Okay, and we'll paste it here. And now what will this do is it will find all of that element with this XPath. That is what is going to do. Okay, and there is also this. Okay, now let's see. And if this is working fine, we have to understand that if this is not working fine, we have to get that there is an issue in finding that XPath, because if you see we have got this error that says there is a selector issue, which means we are reaching to this point but we are not able to find this XPath. Basically that means even if we are running the program or if we are running the code also, then sometimes what happens, it goes to the loop but it is not able to find where to look for that section of XPath in that page. Now that is what will be causing the problem. In that case what we do, we shift to full XPath. Okay, so now if it is not working this time, we will be shifting it to full XPath and then we'll be trying again. Okay, so we have reached the page end, but yet we don't have the omitted results that we want. So what if we remove this and run again? Will it be closing? If the browser is being closed, that means we have been looping right. But if the browser is not closed by itself, we have been looping wrong. That is what we have to check here. Also, we have to break here. We don't have to pass. You know why? Because we want to break if there is no element found. Okay, so we are at the end of the page and it should exit on its own. Okay, let's see if it is exiting on it. And if not, we will be having some issue with the loop. Let's get to that. It is going else pass. So basically that means we are passing it every time it is going to the else condition, but we won't prefer to do that. Okay, so we have reached the page end, but still there is that issue that it is not exiting. Okay, so what we can do is to replace, we will copy this section. Okay, we have we have to use this, and then we will get back to the initial version of this port segment, and then here we will be trying to manipulate that again. Okay, uh, yeah, right, we are here, and what we have to do, we are finding the target element, right? So every time it is finding the target element, it will break out of the loop, and it will read to the except condition where we are. Okay, so now we have solved the error. Now let's see if this looping condition is still having the issue. That might be caused because of the Chrome browser. Now in that situation, we have to start the whole of the looping initially, because we cannot check the looping as we have three loops and one try conditions inside that, and that is what is causing every loop must have a print statement that must be checking that if the loops are running fine or not, and that is a process that will require a lot of algorithmic understanding, right? So for consideration, we are considering ourselves as a beginner, so that is not what we are going to do here. We will try every approach that a person who is not good at coding might not understand. Okay, so we won't prefer any conditioning algorithms that require any kind of understanding key. What are we going to do next, and that's on the basis of the levels we are working on. So we have the page end. Now basically that means that it will exit the browser after it has completed it. Okay, okay, now let's get back to GPT and tell it that we have a issue. Also we have to do a break here. Now we have to tell GPT that we are getting this as it is rerunning when not required. Okay, so now we have the next code section here. Now what we will do here is copy this and get here on, and we will run this. So here you see we have done the exiting of loops, right? Okay. So now what we have to do, we have to check where is this loop breaking out. Okay. So basically it will be breaking out here. So what we are going to check is the pass conditions. So it has a try condition, whereas it is here, and it is going to the except, and after try condition, if it is fine, it is going to get to stall count, and then we have break here. So if we print 0 1 here, will it is it breaking at the end of that point? That is what we are trying to check here, that where is the code breaking out actually from that loop. It has two positions to break out. It can break here or it can break here, else because it has a pass condition here, so it will just pass up. That is what it is going to do, and then it will scroll again and scroll again, and when the condition will not go with the try, or you can say when it will be not able to scroll or find for the query that we are trying to select, it will break out. So basically wherever it will be breaking, there is a part where we will be adding to check for the page end, and after that page end checking, we will be going to the further section of what we are getting to use of the